Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna and join me, as always, is Mr. Bill Kupush. Bill, how's it going?
I am doing really well. After all, I do have my Starbucks Verona blend cup of coffee here with me, so I am good to go. Um, the day itself was quite hot. I was outside for a lot of it, but I have a little story for you. So my wife, I get home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was home, and she tells me the minute I walk in the door, I've been traumatized, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And she was like really emotional and really like, oh my God, I've been traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why? What's going on? What's going on? There was a cat in our backyard, and it killed two birds, and she saw it like running with one of the birds in its mouth and stuff, and then she's like, oh my God, I can't unsee it now. And she was very upset because this cat was killing birds, and it left one of them just lying in the lane out behind her house. It came back
Oh,
for it later. It's a
oh, wow.
murder cat. This is like one of those serial killer cats.
Taking
Hey,
out the
don't.
birds.
It's I say that with all due seriousness. That some cats just enjoy killing things. There's a really good oatmeal infographic about it. Actually, if you go to oatmeal.com and search serial killer cat, you'll get a very interesting infographic on serial killing cats. They just
Interesting.
kill for fun.
You know, it's funny. I also have a cat related story that happened yesterday at work. But before I get to that story, you're talking about serial killers. I just finished watching Reacher, Jack Reacher on Amazon
Oh yeah,
Prime. Fantastic show. So great. It's
oh
so
yeah.
good. The guy that
I'll have to
plays
check it out.
Hawk from Titans, he's
Hmm.
Jack Reacher, and it makes sense. Like now thinking back, you're like, wow, Tom Cruise is Jack Reacher at 5'7". Yeah, no. This guy exudes Jack Reacher. Really, really, really good show. And actually, this is why he actually left Titans. He got Jack Reacher, and good on him. It's a great show. Um, but back to the cat related stories. Yesterday at work, I was just working. Then I started hearing yelling. Um, Someone in the area that I was working in on the floor started yelling because on a building across from us, there were a bunch of younger guys with some water guns, and they were water gunning their cats. Now, she freaked out. And again, listen, we are against any type of cruelty to animals.
Absolutely.
And she was concerned the cats were going to jump off the roof.
Hmm.
Now, um, my former manager kind of said, "Well, that's interesting." So what she was trying to say is that water cats do not really like water, but she's like
Hmm.
but his thought was the cats were going to suddenly turn suicidal after getting wet. But the funny part was, I think the cats actually belonged to those guys, right? Because like they're petting it, the cat was like rubbing up against one of the
And then
guy's
they
legs.
sprayed them with water
Yeah.
guns.
And then
Interesting.
you know what, young guys, stupid things, right? Just stupid things. But the odd part was the individual at my work thought it was great to start freaking out and having a meltdown
Hmm.
about what was happening, banging on the window, assuming that that noise was going to carry across the streets, a busy street in Toronto,
Hmm.
to those gentlemen that were doing that.
Right.
Uh, and Yeah, to the point where people people were coming out and were concerned actually with her, just in case, it was getting a bit intense. So yeah, it's very interesting. You brought up cats. I'm like, wow, that's 2 days straight, eh? Interesting cat stories.
Cats traumatizing people just in
Cat.
different ways.
Exactly.
Yes, my wife witnessed death, which was not her favorite thing in the world. And the other person witnessed water guns. Yep.
That's what
There
I
you
said too.
go.
That's what I said.
Well, there you have it, people. Cat stories here on One Winged Wrestling. Astonishingly, we are
Yeah.
not, though, called One Wing Cats or One Wing Cat Stories or One Wing Cat Picks or anything like that. We are actually One Paw Cat Picks. I don't know. Anyway, we are actually here to talk about AEW Dynamite. That is why we're here tonight, because tonight is AEW Dynamite. And we are going to predict the show, just now. We're going to talk about what we think the match of the night might be, what we think might be good, might be bad on the show. Then we're going to go away and watch it. And after we've watched it, we're going to come back, though to you it will seem like we were never gone. And we're going to review the show and see what happened with our expectations. Were they met? What were the good matches? What weren't? Did anything surprise us? And most importantly, did anything reach that all-important Omega level? So, Krishna, you ready to go into this episode of AEW Dynamite?
Let's do this.
It comes to us from the Viejas Arena in San Diego, California. And we have 3 segments and 5 matches currently announced for this show. So Tony Khan will be making an announcement about the debut of Collision.
Sure. Okay. Is he going to announce CM Punk now? Like, I don't know. Like, he announced in Chicago. He announced, like, Collision was a thing. So now what? Is it going to be a CM Punk announcement? What else? Like, these little tidbits they're announcing every single week is kind of taking away from the entire, launch of this new program. I don't care. I really don't care right now. Okay, sure. Tony surprised me.
He's going to make an announcement of the debut of Collision. Everyone gets free ice cream. That's what I think it's going to be.
Everyone gets free ice cream. It's going to be a straight edge show. It's going to be what else? Everyone gets Cookie Monster t-shirts.
Right. And then this will be one announcement a week up until we get to June 17th. So we're just going to get an announcement every week on Dynamite where, everyone's going to get like a grab bag under their seat that has like a Cookie Monster shirt and a voucher for free ice cream at the concession stands and, good times. I'm sure the people in Chicago would like it.
I know.
We are also going to hear from Jay White and Juice Robinson.
I side there purposely. I just think Jay White and Juice are, well, I would not so much Juice, but Jay White's a little bit wasted right now on AEW. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it would have been any better in WB, but it's just a little bit wasted. Like, he went from the World Championship at my God, I was gonna say
New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan. To a feud-ish with Ricky Starks. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm hoping that something happens, something good. Like maybe
That'd
a new
be nice.
member of Bullet Club Gold is showing up tonight. Who knows, right? That'd be cool. Or maybe Ricky Starks joins Bullet Club Gold. I don't know if that's that cool, but what?
That's not happening.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, again, these segments are not really exciting. The segments thus far.
Yes, exactly. The segments thus far are not very exciting. I mean, we are also in the Double or Nothing, hangover. We're probably not going to get a lot on this show related to Forbidden Door because, New Japan has to go through the Dominion card this coming Sunday. So they have like their big event. Once that's gone, we'll probably start getting some Forbidden Door stuff. But I will bet you a lot of money, almost nothing related to Forbidden Door happens on tonight's show.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
We will also hear, and I believe this is what Mr. Denai was referring to, we will also hear from Konosuke Takeshita and Don Callis.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what I was referring to. I mean, the biggest quote unquote kept secret here was Konosuke Takeshita's like attack on Kenny Omega back at the pay-per-view, like the big shocker, which everyone kind of saw coming. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I kind of hope it's more than just we did this because Kenny wronged us and he needs to learn. I'm hoping it's more than that. I'm hoping the Elite show up. I'm hoping Kenny confronts Takeshita. And I hope it sets up some matches. I would like to see Kenny go on a little bit of a, singles run here. Takeshita, Danielson, Mox, Yuta. Hey, Yuta pinned him.
Yes.
Right? So, there's a lot of people here that will benefit from a singles run. And also, I kind of want to hear from the Bucks and Hangman on what's going on here, right? I don't want to just continuously have to watch being the Elite to find out these story tidbits, right? I'm hoping for a lot tonight from this storyline, but you're right. I don't know how much I'm going to get.
Right. Yeah, it's too bad we didn't get the segment where the Dark Order continues their recruitment efforts tonight. That would be great.
That'd be better. That would
It
be
would
so
be.
much
It would be
better.
better than some of the segments we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the Dark Order. Then we finally have some matches. There are 5 announced, which means, if they go with their standard rate of 6 matches, there will be another one added to this card somewhere, maybe involving, Wardlow's not on this card, right? So
True.
we have Swerve Strickland versus Big Bill versus Trent Baretta in a 3-way.
I'm looking at this card today and I'm trying to rank these. Now, Swerve, Big Bill, and Baretta, this is gonna be a good match. This is actually gonna be a really good match. I'm kind of thinking Swerve needs a win here, like after what happened. So I think Swerve is going to win. The interesting is out of the 5 matches, where do I put this one? Because I'm just looking at the list and I'm seeing a couple. I'm gonna put this one at number. Ooh, this one's hard. I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna do something weird here. I'm gonna slot this one at number 2 because I was gonna slot it in.
Ooh.
I was gonna slot it in number 3, but I'm slotting it in number 2. I think this is gonna be a really good match. And I'm rating this higher than one of the matches I actually want to rate as number 2.
Right. Okay. I am rating this match as number 3.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. I think it's going to be very good, though. I mean, Big Bill just keeps him. But like I said to you when we were watching the pay-per-view, I don't think I mentioned during our review podcast. Big Bill reminds me of Kevin Nash, who can wrestle. Like a Kevin Nash who can actually wrestle in the ring, right? Like he has that whole demeanor. He like makes fun of people. He's kind of like, it's almost like he's studied a little bit of Kevin Nash and like the swagger and the, that kind of stuff because he's got it all. And then he adds to it the fact that he can actually kick ass.
Yeah.
And go at guys, right? And it actually makes a pretty good combination. I'm actually impressed with him as a big guy in AEW because he does the role so well. And taking on Trent Baretta and Swerve Strickland, I mean, this is going to be great. It's going to be great. So but there's enough really great stuff on here that I'm going to call this number 3. So hello AEW.
And that's it. That's it. Like I was literally putting it in number 3, and I thought, maybe this might be actually better than number 3.
Right. And I believe I might guess which one you would have put at 3. And I'm
Okay.
going to say the next match we're going to talk about is Orange Cassidy versus Darby Allin. Orange Cassidy tag teaming with Darby Allin, taking on the Gates of Agony.
That's 100% correct. I was gonna put this one as number 2, and and at the last second I'm like, maybe it may be the sort of match beats this. This is gonna be a great match, and this match could actually be number 1. This could possibly be number 1, depending on how this tag team match goes. It could be number 1, but I'm thinking, I don't know, right? So it's gonna be great. I guess it's the House of Agony, right? It's
Gates of Agony.
Sorry, Gates. The House of Agony. The Gates of Agony. It is. They're good, but I haven't seen too much of them, and I know what Darby and Orange Cassidy brings. So if the Gates of Agony like show up tonight and they have a solid match, easily number 2 or 1.
Right.
But I'm slotting number 3.
Right. I slotted it at number, I believe, once I find my notes again, I slotted it at number 2. So we flipped these 2 matches, the Swerve and the Orange Cassidy match. I think this match is going to be great. I mean, Kaun and Toa Liona, I believe his name is. Yep, Toa Liona. They're good. They make a good tag team. And I think that Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, I mean, you cannot go wrong putting these 2 guys in a ring. It's just impossible for Orange Cassidy to have a bad match every time he goes out there. But look, what I find very interesting is he's not defending his championship on this card.
You know what? And that's and this is why I'm wondering if something's gonna happen here. Like his next opponent is gonna come out and attack him or something like that, and screw them over for this match. Right. That's my only thing. I don't know. Again, guys, I'm just speculating here. I'm just wondering. So I'm wondering if any outside interference ruins this match.
Right. Possibly. We shall see. After all, we would need to set up some stuff for next week's Dynamite too.
That's right.
Yeah, so no, I think it's going to be great. And you're right, something might happen. Next up, we have Kris Statlander, the champion, in her first title defense against Nyla Rose, which was apparently done through an open challenge. Apparently, she did not get 20 people lining up outside Tony Khan's room, and she needed to do a battle royal. But she's doing the, let's defend the heck out of this title thing. So she's taking on Nyla Rose for the TBS championship.
I'm thinking this match might actually be number 4.
Mm-hmm.
See, normally, if you listen to Bill and I rate the Jade Cargill matches, we throw it all obviously at the ending most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this match might be better because Nyla Rose is a really, really good worker,
Mm-hmm.
and Statlander, she's good, but not as good as Rose. But I'm wondering, her time away, hopefully, she's gotten better and stuff like that. Um, I'm hoping for the best. Like again, this could be number 5, but I'm gonna give it number 4. I'll say
Yep.
it's gonna be number 4.
Oh yeah, I immediately put it in 4
Okay.
because I thought to myself, you know what, this can be a good match. I mean, Nyla Rose, she has really good matches.
She does. You're
She's
right.
quite good in the ring, and Kris, and she has a good character. I think it's almost like, when was the last time she was on Dynamite? It has been a very long time.
She hasn't been on Dynamite for forever. Like
I
I haven't.
know.
I think the last time I saw her, she was on Rampage.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just sad because I mean, she's one of the originals and one of the best workers in the women's division and has a great character. So it's not like she also can't talk and stuff. This one was once one of the contenders for the AEW Women's Championship, right? And time in and time out puts on good matches. So, I think this is going to be solid. I think Kris Statlander, I mean, she may have a little rust on her. We'll see. But yeah, number 4 for sure. Which brings us to Saraya and Chris Jericho taking on Adam Cole and Britt Baker, DMD, Dr. Britt Baker, even DMD, in an intergender match.
Well, obviously this is gonna be number 1, right?
Yeah.
After the showing on Sunday, man, I don't know anymore. Like I don't know what they were trying to do on Sunday, but that match was boring, right? So this is gonna get number 5. There's no way. I'm like, oh, sure, they can surprise us. But after what I saw Sunday, I'm like, I immediately thought when I looked at the list, I'm like, no way, number 5. This is gonna get number 5.
Yeah, me too. I look, and you know what the funny part is? I think it's going to get number 5 not because Saraya and Britt Baker. I think it's going to at number 5 because Adam Cole and Chris Jericho are just their chemistry for whatever, and both of them are
Yeah,
great, but their chemistry together is just kind of
mid. It's mid.
yeah, it's mid. It's mid. So yeah, and look, I love Adam Cole. I love Chris Jericho. I love Dr. Britt Baker DMD, and I have warmed back up to Saraya. So I mean, after all, at one time she was one of my all-time favorite women's wrestlers back when she was in NXT and starting the women's revolution. And when she can hit her moves and stuff, she's really solid. So I am actually looking forward to seeing her face Dr. Britt Baker. So let's see what happens. But again, on this list of matches, though, number 5. Which brings us to what is by default both of our number 1, the Lucha Brothers, of course, Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo, and Bandido taking on Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, this is gonna be number 1, obviously. By process of elimination that we just did. Yeah, I mean, you have, as I said, Rey Fenix, the top luchador I've ever seen wrestle. You have with Bandido, who's so fantastic. He's so amazing. And then you have Penta. And what more can you say about Penta? He's so charismatic, that like he's so fun to watch. Best Sling Blade, by the way. And then you have the Blackpool Combat Club, who just want to fight, beat up people, right? This is again, as I said, with Rey and his hits, this is going to be a hard hitting match. Obviously, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to win. Kind of curious what they're doing with the Lucha Brothers right now. I don't like, you have like the 1B, like, or whatever you want to call them, like best tag team in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what you're doing with them. Like, put the belts back on them.
Right. They're
Come
definitely
on.
a top 5 in the world tag team.
Oh,
That's for
100%,
damn sure.
100%.
Yeah, no, this match is gonna rock. I mean,
Yeah,
they can't do anything but that because I mean, my God, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, these 3 guys are amazing on their own. Never mind putting them in the ring with 3 of the best in AEW, like the Lucha Brothers and Bandido.
yeah,
So you put 6 guys of this caliber in a wrestling ring, and you are going to have a freaking amazing wrestling match. Something
yeah.
really strange would have to happen to make this not the best match on the show. I'm going to assume this will main event the card. It has to main event the card. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to open with tonight though.
Well,
Let's see.
um,
They're
they're
going to
probably
open
gonna.
with Swerve.
You think so?
Yeah, they'll open with that match or the Orange Cassidy match. Now I've given 2 matches, so I got to pick one. They're going to open with Swerve and Big Bill and Trent Beretta.
Feel like they always open with Orange Cassidy for some reason.
They do like him in the opening because he
Yeah,
does
so
get the crowd
maybe we'll
up,
see.
and yeah, that's and him and Darby Allin, they'll get the crowd hot right out of the gate too. So yeah, you may be correct. Yeah, there isn't the big face in that other match. So, I'm actually gonna switch. You're right. Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Gates of Agony, they're gonna open the show. Yep, and the main event will of course be those guys. But I think that the Elite's going to get involved in that main event somehow.
I want the Elite to get involved. I'm hoping they do because it makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, do you think it's going to be like the Bucks and Hangman? Because Kenny's going to want to go after, Takeshita, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very like, I don't know what exactly is going to happen here.
Right. Well, what is not going to happen is there's not going to be any New Japan guys show up. So I mean,
No,
we
I
know
think
that
you're
right
right.
out
I
of the
think
gate.
I
Yeah.
think based on like the whole like Dominion card, I think you said right.
Yeah.
It's coming
Yep.
up. It doesn't make sense right now.
Right. Because I mean, look, Will Ospreay's fighting Lance Archer. So no Will Ospreay for sure. El
Mhm.
Phantasmo's fighting David Finlay for the Never Openweight Championship.
Oh, okay, that makes
So
sense.
no
Okay.
El Phantasmo. World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jeff Cobb. You're not getting Zack Sabre Jr. either, right? Okada's busy in the Never Openweight 6-man tag against Shota Umino, Jon Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli. So they'll be flying over there this weekend. But yeah, unless Okada feels like flying back and forth or something, we're not getting any of that either. TJP and Francesco Akira are both busy. Like it's just everyone. It's a big show, right? Dominion's one of their biggest shows of the year. So yeah, they're all busy. So yeah, tonight I think is just going to be a holdover episode, and then next week we'll begin the build for Forbidden Door. So yeah,
next week, eh?
yeah.
Okay.
So
That kind of
holdover.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not real big on holdover episodes. I got a sneaking feeling that not much is gonna happen tonight. I think everything's just gonna be held over for a week so they can start the build. But
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It gives them like almost a month.
Yep.
So it gives them 1, 2, 3 dynamites to build it.
Yes, I believe you are correct, sir. So yeah. Well, anyway, that is what we think is gonna happen on this show. Shall we go watch this bad boy?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to go watch the show, but to all of you, it's going to seem like we were never gone. And that was AEW Dynamite, which came to us tonight from the Viejas Arena in San Diego, California. We've got Taz, Tony, and Excalibur on commentary as always. And we open the show with the match I thought was going to be the main event. We get the Lucha
Same.
Brothers, Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Bandido coming out to take on the Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. We have Bryan Danielson on commentary, and my God, the Luchadors were all over in this match because they are in San Diego, and there is a massive Latino population in San Diego. And it showed during this match. The BCC swaggers into the arena, though. I just want to give a shout out to Mox's hoodie that I love, the Death Jitsu Zero Fucks hoodie. Pretty great. I wouldn't wear it personally because I wouldn't want to walk around with a hoodie that said Zero Fucks on it because I guess I do give more than 0 fucks. Interesting. Anyway, Excalibur asked Danielson about Don Callis and the BCC, and Danielson says he can't say anything now. Bandido came out as El Chapulin Colorado. I have butchered the pronunciation. My apologies, but it's like he's the red grasshopper or cherry cricket, depending on how you translate it. But it's a 1973 tongue-in-cheek comedy superhero series from Mexico. So there you go. And Danielson immediately says, "You don't come out to fight the BCC dressed like a bug."
Agreed.
They fight before the bell, of course. The Luchadors get the BCC out of the ring and they go for a trio of dives, but the Blackpool Combat Club catches them all and starts to beat them down around the ring. Yuta rolls Bandido into the ring and finally the bell goes. Yuta hits a slam and a standing senton for 2, but Bandido reverses the suplex attempt into his own long delayed vertical. One arm, he does 20. He does 40. He does 60. Well, Rey and Penta had the other 2 members of the Blackpool Combat Club in scissor arm bars, and he gets a 2 count on the vertical. Bandido then tags out to Rey. who takes down Yuta with a rope kick, the running rope kick. Mox and Claudio try to interfere, but then Mox eats a cutter from Ray. Claudio gets hit with a backstabber from Penta. Bandido tags back in. Yuta gets him outside and distracts the ref while the Blackpool Combat Club hits a spiked pile driver to him on the floor. This leads to the Blackpool Combat Club working over Bandido in their corner for quite a while, grinding him down. This opens up with a big Lucha Libre chant from the crowd at one point. Mox locks a straitjacket choke on Bandido, but he reverses it into a jawbreaker, but Mox immediately comes back with a series of corner lariats, but then Bandido takes him down with a huge tornillo and tags Ray as Mox tags Claudio. Fenix nails a thrust kick, takes down Yuta with a jumping heel kick, tags Penta, and then they deliver sandwich thrust kicks from the Lucha Brothers, followed by a sling blade on Claudio, then a Cazadora roll through to DDT Mox. But Claudio lariats Penta down. They tag Yuta and Bandido, who trade strikes for a long time until Yuta goes for the eyes. But Bandido nails a dropkick and a cutter as the Lucha Brothers hit double tope suicidas. Bandido hits the Eddie Frog splash for a near fall. He then hits a torture rack knee and goes for the 21 plex, but Mox holds Yuta, and then Claudio hits him with an uppercut. Mox holds Yuta. I'm like, wait, what? No, and then Mox held Yuta, so he didn't take the 21 plex, and then Claudio hits Bandido with an uppercut. Yuta then hits a jumping knee and the hammer and anvil elbow strikes before locking on the seatbelt for the 3 count. What did you think?
I like this. I love this match. This match was fantastic. Like, it's weird they put this match on first, right? Because I was like, okay, but then I guess Jericho is it and Cole are draws. I guess that's the whole thing, right? Yeah, no, this match was almost played out exactly how I thought it would. I am actually glad they're giving Yuta kind of like he's the one pinning everybody, and Danielson's commentary about we like a year ago Yuta would never have done that. Now he's training with us. I love the fact he did the psycho knee, but he called it the jumping knee. I'm like, no,
it is a jumping knee.
Yeah, but it's the psycho knee. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, no, I thought this match was fantastic. These luchadors, and the Blackpool Combat Club, like the Blackpool Combat Club, they could, like, if they were to win the trios championship, who would take it away from them? Right? They're so violent. I love it. Mox didn't bleed. Just to let everyone know, Mox did not bleed tonight. But I love this match. I thought it was fantastic. Actually, I said this was gonna be my match of the night, and I can't disagree. I think it is my match of the night.
Oh yeah, it's my match of the night too. Yeah, this is a great match. This was exactly what I expected from these guys. Solid 4-star match. I was just, they went out there and they put on a show, right? Yep. I mean, the crowd absolutely loved the faces, which was cool. This was also probably some of the loudest the crowd was all night was in this match.
Yes.
They were super hot for this match. They liked all 6 guys in the match. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, they weren't booing the Blackpool Combat Club, but they liked the luchadors a little more, which, makes sense given the geography. So, but solid match. Good. Like, the luchadors just trying to come back and hitting all their fancy moves, and the Blackpool Combat Club just beating them down, using a little bit of trickery here and there, right? Just doing what they needed to do to pull out the win, which is their MO, and just like vicious assaults. And like Danielson pointed out, he goes, look, we use technical wrestling violently, right? Which I thought was a great line. So yeah, awesome match of the night. And except for the next segment, it's all downhill from here. This whole episode is like graded on a curve. It starts off as like a mountain at the beginning, and then you get like the tail.
Yeah.
But we kind of expected that. We'll get to all that. Anyway, we have Alex Marvez in the back with the Elite, and by the Elite I mean Matt and Nick Jackson and Hangman. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No Kenny Omega. So Alex asked them, how are you guys feeling after Double or Nothing? And Matt says, listen, I told Hangman that he brings out the good in us. The Blackpool Combat Club brings out the worst in us. I never thought I would try to melt off the face of another man with an exploding sneaker. Alas, here we are. And he almost kept a straight face while delivering that line. Nick then says, we are the heart, the soul, and the spirit. No setback's going to keep us down. Hangman says, we're still standing, and they rely on the numbers game. And then Evil Uno and the Dark Order interrupt them,
Mm,
and they're like, "Hey, Hangman, how are you?" And they're like, "Oh, never mind. You're hanging out with your new best friends. We'll just leave you to it." And they leave.
mm.
And then Alex says, "I've heard Kenny left the country, and he's gone back to Canada." And Hangman says, "Yeah, he's pissed off, but he's not in Canada."
Yeah, I mean I guess they're continuing the setup for it seems like Forbidden Door. I'm assuming now at this point. Um, I like the fact that they haven't just abandoned the Hangman and Dark Order little thing because the fun thing is you understand where the Dark Order is coming from. Like, you get it. Like
Mm-hmm.
Hangman, you're kind of a jerk to them. Like they backed you up when everyone else turned their back on you, right? Yeah, the segment was okay. I mean, I was kind of upset Kenny wasn't there. I was like, oh, fine, Kenny's not here.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I guess they're slowly. You're right. Nothing. You said it. Nothing's gonna happen on this episode. They're gonna wait until
after
the
Dominion.
upcoming. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go. It,
Mm-hmm.
it, it makes sense. Like I mean, this is not one of the best elite segments. It's kind of like okay, sure. Like you
Right.
guys really are playing up baby faces here, I guess, right? Which makes the Blackpool
Yeah.
Combat Club a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. And I didn't like Matt's delivery.
Yeah.
It almost sounded like he was like having a joke about
Mhm.
the Anarchy in the arena match. Like there was just a little bit too much humor in the way he delivered his line, right? Like I didn't like it. And then, okay, let's try and hey, Dark Order had a point. It's like, oh, you're with your new friends. You've forgotten all about us. The guys
Mhm.
that stood by him through his
Mhm.
darkest moments in the company, right? And now he's just, no, man, I'm back with the elite. It's all hunky dory. It's like, I'm beginning to dislike the Bucks with
Mhm.
Hangman,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
don't like them together. I hope Kenny does
No.
something about this at
Same.
some point. Yep.
Same.
Because I don't know, man. I don't know. I love you, Bucks, but I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. I don't know. Poor Dark Order. But then we get Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he brings out Jay White and Juice Robinson, Bullet Club Gold. And Tony says, after Jay White's like, no, come on, put your arm around me. And he puts his arm around him like they're all chummy buddy buddy. And Tony's like, you were on the attack on Ricky Starks there, Double or Nothing. Jay's like, Double or Nothing was an amazing night. I bet Ricky feels like he's on top of the world after he eliminated us from the Battle Royal. But let me remind Ricky Starks, he's not the international champion. He lost it just like he lost to me. And then Juice says, and that brings us to FTR. We want to know why Dax and Cash came to the aid of Ricky. It's mind boggling. It doesn't make sense. They can't be friends with Ricky Starks because we all know Ricky ain't got no friends. And Jay's like, but they're Southern boys. It's safe to assume they're a little slow and they look dumb. They sound pretty dumb. I just didn't actually think they were dumb enough to get involved in the Bang Bang Gang's business. That's right, folks. The Bang
Bang,
Bang
bang.
Gang. FTR comes out and Jay goes, oh, look, they are dumb enough. Juice goes, hey, keep it cordial. They're here to apologize. And Jay's like, oh, you're right. They're here to apologize. They probably want to join Bullet Club Gold. Well, all they had to do was ask. Just make sure you do it politely. And then he hands the mic to Dax, but then drops it before he can take it. And they jump FTR. Juice had a roll of quarters in his hand and like smashes on Dax, DDT on Dax, Blade Runner on Cash. And then Ricky Stark shows up with a chair to chase them off. Ricky gets a mic and says, I'm sick of you. Juice, keep your jabroni ass in the back. And next week, Jay, let's finish this. Yes, your jabroni ass.
So
Krishna.
so we're gonna assume here, right? Make an
Mm-hmm.
assumption here that El Phantasmo's coming, right?
Something's got to happen. I mean, they need
Right?
three
Because
people now, right?
it's
Because now
three
the
on.
faces are outnumbering the
Yeah,
heels.
exactly. And this isn't like I mean, and this is not the whole Adam Cole and Sabu fiasco from the other
Right.
night,
Or
right?
or
Because
or or the embassy and a couple guys later.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Math is hard in this
Math
company.
is very hard. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be, right? So that's my assumption is and listen, I'm so over this feud already. Like, listen, I love the jumping of FTR.
Yep.
Thank God FTR is away from Jarrett and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Um, great. Bullet Club. I think I made a comment. Why doesn't like Bullet Club Gold go after the belts or something
Yeah,
like that. I wouldn't
exactly, because
mind.
they would be
Yeah,
great tag team
yeah, they would be
champions.
great tag team champions. Um, so yeah, I'm cool with them going after FDR. I just want to get away from Ricky, man. It's so boring.
I know.
And and then they, next week they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be like FTR's band and Juice Robinson's band. Okay,
Great,
great.
but that's fine because that leaves the door wide open for a
New
third member.
prediction. There you
Yes,
go. There you
exactly,
go.
exactly. Can Ricky Stark stop pretending he's The Rock, please? Like,
No, he
just
can't.
stop.
He can't because
Stop.
that's his gimmick.
I'm surprised he didn't say your jabroni candy ass. Like, seriously, why don't you just go full Rock? Why don't you do what Jay Lethal did with Macho Man?
And just
And
copy
you
it.
just do a full on fake Rock gimmick. Just do it because you're already doing it, buddy. You're already doing it. You think you're The Rock. You have 1/4 of his charisma and 5 times his wrestling ability. So, let's reverse that around. Get a gimmick where, you don't sound like The Rock and then go wrestle.
Yeah,
It'd be
true.
great. Look, he tries hard. I'll give
He
him that
does.
much. He does not suck in the ring. He's a solid wrestler. I just don't love his current shtick. And the more he does this Rock stuff, the more I cringe
Yep.
every time he's
I
in the ring.
I agree.
So yeah, Jay White needs to take him down. That'll be great. So we go to the Tony Khan announcement, the third Tony Khan announcement concerning Collision. Guess what, Krishna? It's going to feature CM Punk.
What?
I know. Do you know who was not thrilled with this announcement? The vast majority of the San Diego crowd.
You heard the booze, I'm
Oh,
assuming,
the
right?
boos
Yeah.
outweighed the cheers by a
Hmm.
mile. That arena was booing.
You know, like you do, they did focus on the CM Punk fans in the arena. Like they showed like
Yes.
the t-shirts and stuff like that. And hey, cheer for who you want, right?
Yep.
I'm hoping this works out. I'm actually hoping this works out for AEW. But there's a lot of bad blood here, like right. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell still, right? Right when they made the announcement, I guess Tony thought it was gonna be, I guess, more pleasant than it was. But yeah, you're right. The boos, like the minute you kind of heard like a bit of cheering, but then the boo kind of
Mm-hmm.
like
Oh
covered
yeah.
the audience.
Yep.
It's gonna take it's gonna, it's like it's gonna take a bit for the fans to readjust. I am, it's one of those things. It's like, thanks. Why didn't you release this information earlier? You knew this
Mm-hmm.
last week.
Yeah.
You think this was going to somehow affect your pay-per-view? He wasn't showing up at the pay-per-view.
Right.
So what does it matter?
But it's a good point. He might have thought that people then would have started expecting CM Punk at the pay-per-view. That's actually not a bad point. It might be a good reason not to have announced it last week.
But let's say that he announced it last week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe CM Punk fans would have shown up and they would have potentially sold out that pay-per-view. I don't know if they sold
Oh,
out or
I
not.
don't know. And then you would have had them like, oh no, CM Punk and
Right.
booing and trying to do CM
It
Punk chants, and it's like,
it's
nah.
it's I mean, regardless, I mean it's yeah, it was an announcement everyone knew or
Yep.
everyone saw coming from a mile away. Again, it feels like the day that WB announced that they were having Collision, and then Tony Khan went on TV and announced they were having Collision. So it's like, okay, Tony, like, I'm glad you didn't say it was a huge announcement because you knew it was kind of like downplayed. But yeah, okay, CM Punk came back. Thanks.
Yep. The funny part was they started playing his segment during the commercial break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I got the audio started playing during the commercial break on Fight.
It's Oh, okay. That's weird because
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
like,
Yeah.
we get like the screen that says AEW Dynamite, and just the Dynamite like instrumental part of the theme just plays over and over again,
Okay.
loops, right?
Mhm.
But all of a sudden Tony
Weird.
Khan's voice breaks in, and it's the exact, like, it was clearly a taped segment, right? It's the exact like introductory lines from what I ended up seeing a few minutes later. It was pretty funny.
Hmm.
Good job, guys. Good job. But yeah, anyway, then we go to a match. Swerve Strickland taking on Big Bill, taking on Trent Baretta. I called this the number 3 match of the night. You called it the number 2 match of the night.
Mhm.
Well, Swerve bails as the bell rings. Bill throws Baretta off the ropes, but he turns it into a tope suicida on Swerve and tosses him into the ring. Bill hits a big boot to Swerve and then splashes Trent and Swerve repeatedly. He dumps Swerve outside and launches Trent in the air before landing another big boot. Bill beats Trent and Swerve down around the ring until Swerve shoves him into a ring post, and then Trent nails a spear on the floor. Swerve tosses Baretta into the barricade, though, and hoists him up on the apron, where they fight back and forth until Trent pulls Swerve into the path of a Big Bill big boot, and then sends Bill to the floor, where Trent hits him with a moonsault off the middle turnbuckle. But Swerve kicks Trent down and goes up the turnbuckle for the Swerve stomp, but Bill catches him. Trent goes up too, and then they hit a double superplex on Big Bill. Swerve and Trent are up first, Trent hitting a half and half, but on a run, Bill nails the boss man slam, but then Swerve breaks up the cover with a kick and covers Bill for 2. He then hits a flatliner on Trent. He goes up for the Swerve stomp, but Trent hits a flying knee to counter and the stalling pile driver, but Bill breaks up that pin, sending Trent to the apron. Bill then chokeslams Trent into the ring, but Swerve nails the Swerve stomp on Bill on the apron, locks a crucifix on Trent for the 3 count. Swerve Strickland wins the match. What'd you think?
Yeah, I like this match. I thought that remember what I said? I said that like these guys, right? There's just something about them. Big Bill, like I think he's probably the I don't want to take too much credit away from Wardlow, because when Wardlow goes, he can go. But I think Big Bill's probably the most consistently good big guy they have on the roster, right? Like you said it, like he's like Kevin Nash with skill, right? With skill.
Brian Cage.
Oh, and see, this thing I don't want to take away from these guys. Like they're right away. I totally forgot about Brian Cage. These are the guys Vince McMahon, even though he had Big Bill, wishes he had. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He wishes he had guys like this. Big Bill obviously was underutilized when he was there, anyways. And he had his own issues as well. Yeah, I thought this match was great. I really did. I really think. And here's the problem: I was going back and forth, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, right? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Because I'm biased. And I'll say that right now because I'm biased. And Swerve got the win, even though I called Swerve was getting the win. I'm giving it the number 2 spot still. So I'm still remaining in my number 2 spot.
I left it at number 3.
Yeah,
but
see,
nothing against this match whatsoever. Yeah. Great match. Big Bill, another good showing from him, and just Swerve and Trent. What can you say about these two guys, right? They're both just so good. They're fantastic, right? The way Swerve got the pin too, I love it. The Swerve stomp on the apron to get rid of Bill, and then stealing the pin from the choke slam with the crucifix for the 3. It was great. I mean, did exactly what it needed to do. Swerve is building a lot of momentum right now, because I think he's going to be the one who's going to go after and probably take the international championship from Cassidy, which is great because I think he'll make a great international champion. Because it's about time we had a heel international champion for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Cassidy's had the belt for quite a while now.
Was the last one, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So no, I really like this 3.5-star match. Lots of fun. Check it out. Good match. Then we get a Kris Statlander recap video. She talks about coming back, about questioning herself. She's going to prove to everyone that they were right about her, though, that she's better than she thinks she is, and will have the best damn title reign anyone has seen. Then we get
for you before you go on. Yeah. What is her gimmick exactly?
She's more than a woman.
It
says that all over her tights.
I saw that. Is she just babyface? Is that's her gimmick?
She's babyface fighting champ who has overcome odds.
Okay, all right. We can talk about that later then. Okay, sounds good.
Babyface fighting champ who can overcome odds. Used to be an alien. She isn't an alien anymore.
Yeah,
she figured out she's human.
Alien.
I know. I like Alien. Renee is in the back. No, I'm sorry, on the stage, and brings out the Acclaimed, and as she announces him, Daddy Ass. Yeah. Renee says, things didn't go your way at Double or Nothing, but you asked for this time. Knock yourselves out. That's not quite what she said, but I like that better. So Billy says, things didn't go our way. That's okay, because anyone can get beat anytime. Okay. I let down the Acclaim, though. Then Max says, don't blame yourself. We win and lose as a team. We're amazing. We're the people's choice. Not all the people. And then Anthony Bowen says, our goal remains the same. We were screwed out of tag team gold. We want gold back. This legend, giving his all to us, deserves to hold gold one more time. So don't worry, Billy. We love you, and everyone loves the Acclaim.
Yeah, again, just playing up babyface 101. Hey, for the fans that love them, they're getting what they want.
Right.
For like me, listen, I love the Acclaim, but the problem is they're getting kind of boring, right?
Well, you know what needs to happen, right? Because they're going after gold. They didn't say AEW gold. So
Mhm.
the House of Torture needs to retain their trios titles so that the Acclaim faces the House of
Oh
Torture
my
for the
God.
IWGP World Trios
You mean
Championship.
Bill Cuplish's dream match?
I know. I can't wait to cheer for the House of Torture. And if you think I'm lying, I will be cheering for the House of Torture. So yeah. Yeah, it's my dream match, man. It's my dream match. The Acclaim versus the House of Torture. Yeah. Make it happen, Tony. Make it happen. Oh, I hated this segment. Anyway, because I'm like, are you guys seriously going to strip the trios belts off the House of Black to give them to these chumps?
No
Like,
way.
seriously, just so
No.
Billy can have one more title run. Like, I don't care. I just don't care. Oh, I'm being so negative tonight, Krishna. I need to stop. Like, I feel negative. That's not good. So let's talk about something positive, shall we? Tony brings out Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita. And apparently, Don Callis makes the bile rise in Tony's throat. Way to introduce it. Way to be
I
unbiased,
know.
Tony. Way to be unbiased. We are told at this point by Excalibur that the elite has left the arena. So Tony says, and oh my God, the heat on Don Callis was like nuclear level heat. This man was like, he could barely speak because the bloody crowd was booing him so hard through this whole segment. I think
Which
this
should show you how much of a star Kenny Omega is, everyone. And he should be the
correct.
champ. Yeah.
Correct. That's right. I agree with you 100%. All this is doing is making an even bigger star out of Kenny Omega.
Mhm.
So Tony says to him, so you have a new protege? And Don says, I sincerely hope those boos are for Kenny Omega. I'm the real victim here. I've done everything for Kenny Omega. IWGP title because of me. AEW title because of me. You chose your friends, Kenny. Every morning I get up and have to look at this scar on my head, 29 stitches, and I blame you, Omega. You've destroyed my family, and maybe I lost a nephew, but I gained a son. And he points to Takeshita. This is the best athlete I've ever seen in wrestling. You know who he's better than? Ricky Dozan. He's better than Inoki. He's better than Maeda. He's better than Muto. And oh, yeah, he's better than Okada. You know who else he's better than? And we'll show it to you really soon. He's better than Kenny Omega. Then Takeshita gets the mic. He cuts a promo briefly in Japanese and then says in English, we will destroy the elite. We will destroy Kenny Omega. And Don Callis says, Kenny, you destroyed my family. So I'm going to build a new one. And my family is going to cut the elite out of all elite wrestling.
That's awesome. This segment was awesome. Like, I love Don Callis. He's so awesome. Everything he says was like the way he delivers everything. That sleazy like car salesman type of guy. Like, I love it. I love it. And having Takeshita cut that promo in Japanese and then say, the elite, we're coming for you. We're gonna destroy you, and Omega, we're gonna destroy. Oh, so good, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal's saying you'll find out that Takeshi is better than you. I want to see what's it called, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. I would watch that at Forbidden Door if I had to, right? Like,
yes, that would be pretty great.
That's gonna be such a good match. I'm just like wondering, who is Don Callis bringing?
I know because he's building a family.
He's building a family.
This is correct. This is correct. So yeah, more to come on his built family. Nice, nice.
I wonder
so,
if Callis is gonna be working with the Ibushi.
Maybe we'll find out, right? It's gonna be or we'll see what happens because don't forget Kenny's gone to Japan too, right? So
to get his friends, I'm quoting friends right now.
Yes,
Who
exactly.
knows what's already happened, right?
Yep, I guess we'll see. But that also means Kenny's probably in Japan for Dominion.
Yep, exactly. Of course.
Yep. So that's very interesting to me. So I wonder if there's going to be anything on Dominion with Kenny Omega. And one Will Ospreay, who's going to probably beat Hiroshi Tanahashi and not Hiroshi, Lance Archer, and become the number one contender for Kenny Omega's US title. So are we going to get another epic Kenny Omega vid? Or are we going to get a Kenny showing up at the event because he's actually in Japan, apparently?
But see, that's the word here's where things kind of cross, right? Because you have so many storylines going. It's like if Kenny goes after Ospreay,
Mm-hmm.
And when he's in Japan, it kind of like you're like, oh yeah, this story is still going on as well. But what's happening with the elite back in the States? And yeah, it's a lot going on at the moment. So it's kind of like it makes sense to care because we know Osprey's reign. It makes sense for Kenny to confront him, but maybe they announced that probably when the match is gonna happen, right? Maybe that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Well, I not just that. You see, there's a way these storylines come together beautifully. Don Callis is bringing Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis into his family.
Oh yeah, they're now part of AEW. I
Right.
forgot.
And then you've got the United Empire. They're still wearing their United Empire colors, and that they have an allegiance with the United Empire, which makes a direct line between Don Callis and one Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So there you go. So then maybe their second match is Don Callis in Will Ospreay's corner,
Corner. Yeah.
right? So, there is a way to make all of this come together in a nice, neat little package.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yep.
very true.
And then you could get Aussie Open and Will Ospreay against Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi and a partner of his choice. I don't know.
Ooh, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Okada.
That'd be an awesome match.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, to stop getting our expectations sky high yet again, we will move on to the Wardlow recap, where Arn says some stuff, and then Wardlow says Luchasaurus found out what happens when he steps in our business, and then he challenges Luchasaurus for the title. That was it.
Why is he challenging Luchasaurus for the title?
I don't know. He just wants to
help
prove
Christian.
something.
Sure. You know what? He had a great match, and we're gonna give him a pass, right? Whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. Right?
Exactly. In the list of passable segments on this show, that
Mhm.
one pretty much takes the cake. We then get to Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on the Gates of Agony, Toa Liona and Bishop Kaun. The Gates of Agony attack them before the match, and the bell rings. Liona whips Cassidy into the apron, hits a belly to belly back in the ring. Cassidy tags out, and Darby goes right after Liona, but gets run over, and Liona tags Kaun. Darby kicks Kaun and goes for the springboard coffin splash, but is intercepted with a huge shoulder block by Liona. They work over Darby in their corner, and the rest of the embassy watches now on the stage. Swerve is getting to sit in a chair, of course, while the other two stand next to him. Darby guillotines Liona, but Kaun pulls him off the apron and then whips him repeatedly into the barricades. They just back and forth as Liona runs over Cassidy. Kaun rolls Allin back in the ring for a 2 count. They work over Darby for quite a while in their corner with a lot of just vicious attacks. Excalibur informs us that Cassidy has the second most title defenses now, next to Jade Cargill, and then Taz notes that the Outlaw Championships aren't included in that stat. Kaun hits a backbreaker on the turnbuckle, followed by Liona hitting a senton on the apron. They set Darby up for their finisher, but Darby just collapses. They pick him up again, but then Darby fights back now and finally gets the tag to Cassidy. Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets and pulls off a very cool dodging the gates sequence until he hits a drop kick on Toa, lands a DDT on Kaun. But I mean, he was doing stuff like dodging out of the way so they would run into each other and do moves to each other. It was pretty cool. He sets up for the orange punch, but misses. And Liona hits a Samoan drop, and then they hit the sandwich lariat on him, but Darby breaks up the pin. They go for a double choke slam, but Cassidy hits a double Hurricane Rana and tags out. Darby then hits a coffin slam, then running corner splashes to both, and the Dermis Destroyer on Liona before Cassidy hits him with the orange punch, and Allin with a tope. Kaun goes after Cassidy, but Cassidy nails the Stun Dog Millionaire. Darby hits the code red. Cassidy hits a tope on Liona outside. Darby hits the coffin drop on Kaun and gets the 3.
Yeah, this match was great. Again, it could easily be number 2. And on some nights it could have been number 1 even, right? It was a great match. Fun. It was what I thought it was, right? Like the Gates of Agony, again, seeing them now with some more matches, they're a great tag team, right? They just don't really get a lot of matches on AEW because they're part of, I guess, Ring of Honor, right? But yeah, Darby. So Darby and some confusion today for me because I'm like, hey, so Darby and Orange Cassidy are tag team again. Okay, sure. I don't understand really why, but sure. And we'll talk about another tag team eventually. yeah, this match was great. Um, number three, lots of fun. Just kind of like, why did we have this match? If you
Just
could
to
tell me,
continue
maybe
to
I
set
missed
up
it.
Swerve, continuing to go like it's part of his whole I want to get the
That
international
championship.
championship. Yeah.
But couldn't it be like what like listen, I love the match. As I said, number three.
Mm-hmm.
Could it just not be Orange Cassidy versus somebody? Or do we have to put Orange Cassidy? Or are we giving him like a little
I,
break
I
after
I think
the
I think we were giving him a little
I
time
got
off
it.
by putting the completely worn out Darby Allin in to take the majority of the bumps.
Yep, yep. Okay. All right, fair
Yes.
enough. Fair enough.
Yes. First of all, the Gates of Agony are awesome. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they are like two, and again, big guys that can move.
Yep.
Big, strong guys that can freaking move in the ring, right? A lot of power moves, just a lot. And like, you know, they go in, they're destroyers. They're big Samoan destroyers, you know? So yeah, they were quite good. And I enjoyed watching Darby and Orange Cassidy fight against them. You had this wonderful story of just these two battered little guys trying to take on these two monsters, right? And then eventually pulled it off just like by out finessing them, which was pretty great. So I really enjoyed the story in this match. I enjoyed like the moves in this match. I enjoyed this match a lot, which is why it's my number two match on the night. Another 3.5 star match. Real close though in terms of like with the Swerve match, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm.
they were both the
Good.
same kind of
Yeah.
caliber of match for me, and I had to go back and forth in my head. But I think I just like the story in this one just a little more.
Yeah.
So after the match, Swerve and Cage make their way down to the ring. And they surround the ring, but then Sting's music hits and he comes out with the bat. And now it's 5-on-3. So that means the heels are like, man, we've only got 5 guys against their 3. We're not attacking. That was it.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Here's my assumption. Here's my assumption. And it's still the math doesn't add up, but here's still my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Legends count as 2.
Oh, and don't
Right?
forget, Sting also no sells everything.
Yeah,
It's hard to
exactly.
hurt him.
Like so when Adam Cole got Sabu, it was actually not one person, it was 2 people,
Oh,
right?
right. Does
That's my
Billy
thought.
Gunn count as a legend then?
Um, well, I guess he does, doesn't
So
he?
isn't that unfair then with if they go for the trios titles if they've got 4 guys?
It does. It does. But like the like it counts as 2 in terms of like power, right? Like and intimidation, right? That's what it
Oh,
counts as
okay.
2,
Right. Okay, gotcha. So it was 5-on-4 then.
basically. So still they were still outnumbered. However, they
Yes.
don't need another person,
Right.
right?
And they
So
had the bat.
they got that's right. The bat counts as 1, so it's
Yes.
3
Okay.
altogether right there.
Right. Though I have never seen Sting use that bat to the effect that Momo Watanabe does, but you know. Stardom reference. MJF recap backs, and then you get a quick promo from him. He's like, backstage clock's ticking, and you're running out of competition. Darby, you fell victim to a move as simple as a headlock takeover. That says something about the competition. You're running out of gladiators. No one is on the level of the devil.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering who's coming through that forbidden door. Like, is it gonna be Tanahashi that's gonna face MJF? Because remember, no one's on his level, right? There's
Yep.
nobody, so he has no respect. Tanahashi's still the ace, right?
Yep.
So is it gonna be him? I'm just curious who's gonna come challenge him.
Yeah, but
Um,
is New Japan gonna be like, yeah, sure, just let MJF pin Tanahashi, right? Like,
well, we're assuming that the IWGP champion is gonna be fighting as well. So it might
Nada.
be
Yeah.
yeah. So it might be Sonata versus like who would he fight from AW, and he would win as well, right?
Hmm.
So it's almost like a 1-for-1 kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, you'd want someone that's kind of on a Tanahashi level though, right? So yeah, tricky. Unless MJF faces Sonata and they
That
just
could
get
work
into something or something like that. Yeah.
because remember last year that Moxley beat Tanahashi, right? So I know that
Hmm.
it's kind of setting up for
Yeah, but
Mox
that's
and they.
Mox.
But then no, but I mean, what if MJF beats Tanahashi and Sonata
Mm.
beats Moxley, right?
No,
Would
but
that be an even
Sonata, yeah,
trade?
but Okada's fighting Mox.
You're still going with Okada
Oh,
fighting
of course
Mox,
I'm
right?
going with
Okay,
Okada fighting
okay,
Mox. I
all
mean, they're
right,
setting the whole thing up. Like Dominion, it's all hell's gonna break loose. That match
okay.
is gonna be wild at Dominion. So yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's tough to say who the hell is MJF fighting. Maybe
Hmm.
nobody. Who knows? Do we need him to fight anybody? No. Anyway, Hook comes to the ring with Tony in the ring, and Tony asks him, "What's next for you?" And of course, they don't let Hook actually speak. So Jose, the assistant, immediately cuts him off and says, "Hey, this is the only way La Facción Ingobernable gets TV time around here." And he comes out with Drilistico and Preston. He's like, "We have these two guys." He says, "Roosh can't be here because he's too dangerous for TV." So Drilistico and Preston show this perro what we're about. So they beat down Hook until Jack Perry shows up with a chair and kills them both. And then Hook hits the T-bone suplex on poor Jose, the assistant. And then Perry and Hook stand tall together as I sat there going, "You gonna hit him with a chair? Are you hitting Hook with a chair?"
You thought the exact same thing. I thought, oh my God, he's wearing all black. Here's the Jungle Boy turn. And then nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. He's just standing tall with Hook.
So I'm like, Jungle Hook is a thing again. Oh my God. Like, this is what we're doing with Jack. This is what I mean. So the four pillars, I guess that was it. All right. Like, you'd think you then say, oh, okay, after that showing, let's push these three other guys to other championships, right? Send Jungle Boy up against well, I know you don't want to, but send him after the TNT championship, right? Send him after the international champion, like something. No, he's going to randomly now tag because they're not winning the tag team belts, that's for sure. We're gonna tag him with Hook.
I don't know if this is leading to a tag team or not. I think we're jumping the gun with that, to be honest. There's only so many belts.
Yeah.
Right. There's only so many belts. We already know what the title programs are moving towards, except for MJF's, and the Pillars just finished with him. I think it's too early for them to go, yeah, okay, we had a wonderful match last week, but now all of a sudden we've decided we're doing this instead. Right. I mean, like, everything's got to breathe a little bit. This is like the hangover episode of Dynamite, right? I think that him coming out and saving Hook, I think that what this is doing is setting up his heel turn. Right.
Maybe he turns on Hook, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to turn on Hook. I think he's going to turn on Hook with very specific reasons, and we just don't know them yet, right? And I think it's going to play out over a little bit of time. I think he's going to get frustrated, or something's going to happen, and he's just going to end up turning. So I actually don't have a problem with that personally, and I didn't mind what they did with Darby. I mean, what else is he going to do? Right. I mean, he can't just go after belts constantly. He's already had cracks at the TNT championship a few times, I mean, and he also fought Orange Cassidy for the international championship, didn't he? Pretty sure he's one of the many challengers.
I think maybe.
And he's had so many matches. It's hard to remember exactly who he's faced at this point. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Darby was one of his opponents too. So I mean, he's had his crack at that. Didn't get it. He had his crack at the big one. He didn't get it. It might be time for Darby to reset a little and do something, right? Okay, so he tagged with Orange Cassidy tonight. Fine. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I don't know what you do with these guys right now. Right? They've just got so much going on, and they got to build to Forbidden Door. So what do you do with them? I don't know. I just don't know. I know what you do with Orange Cassidy. You give him Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we will get to that. Yes. Yeah. Renee Paquette then is in the back with Tony Storm. And Renee says, "How do you feel this time?" And Tony says, "I'm having a great time. People would tell me I'm lucky, but I've been wrestling since I was 13. I've done doing everything I need to get to this point. There is no one good enough in this locker room." And Ruby goes, "You're being humble. You grace the fans with your presence." And Tony says, "Well, I'll be defending this title all weekend. I'm a fighting champion. The lucky people here are the AEW fans." Saraya says something too, but I totally missed it.
Yeah, she says something like you're too modest or something like that. Yeah, this was just funny. I mean, I actually thought someone was gonna interrupt them the way they were speaking, and then no one interrupted them. They were just bragging. I like them as bad guys. I think it works. I love the fact that they're all supporting the fact that Tony Storm is the champion. They don't care, which is great. Which is great. I'm so tired of the backstabbing and stuff. Like, they're a gang. They're gonna remain as that, right? So I didn't mind this. I mean, compared to some of the other promos, I didn't mind this one.
Yep. I find this on Outcast shirt that I would willingly wear, by the way. The one that Saraya has that says offensive shirt on the front of it.
That one was actually created by Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah? It should be, because that would be pretty funny. Offensive shirt. Orange Cassidy should have that.
He should.
By the way, I also like Orange Cassidy's new shirt, the orange one
The
with
orange
just his
one?
face on. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the cartoon
Yeah.
face on it. Yeah, it's pretty great. I actually like that shirt a lot. So kudos, guys. You've come out with some better shirts
Mhm.
recently. Stick one of them in my crate. Okay. Then we get Kris Statlander, champion, taking on Nyla Rose for the TBS championship. And Statlander hits a drop kick early and goes for a body slam, but Nyla reverses into a slam herself. She goes for a standing senton, but Statlander moves and applies a body scissors until Nyla gets to the ropes. Nyla slams Statlander's head into the turnbuckle, goes for a vertical suplex, but they end up fighting back and forth until Nyla finally suplexes Statlander into the corner. And this leads to, Nyla taking over for quite a while, beats her down for a long time, chokes her, blocks a crab on Statlander, and pounds on her knee to huge boos. And while they're booing, she yells at the crowd, "What? It's called strategy." She then hits a lariat for 2 and puts on a chin lock. Statlander fights back a bit, but Rose drops her with a chin chop block and works on her knee. She then hits another lariat for 2. She goes for a running splash, but Statlander moves and hits a series of clotheslines and a roundhouse kick, sending Rose into the corner. She hits a running boot and the blue thunder bomb for a near fall. Statlander goes to the top, but Rose pulls her off and hits a running splash in the corner. She goes for the cannonball, but Statlander rolls to the floor, so Rose hits the cannonball onto the floor from the apron, throws Statlander into the barricade where she hits yet another cannonball. She tosses her back in the ring, hits a choke slam for 2, but then Statlander hits the jawbreaker, goes to the top, and hits the 450 splash for 3. And backstage, we see a pissed off Taya Valkyrie watching the match.
I don't know why Taya Valkyrie is pissed off at Kris Statlander. Jade Cargill's the one that beat her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So there was nothing wrong with this match per se, right? I think this was a smart move by AEW, putting Statlander against Rose, someone she knows, right? Someone she's wrestled before, so they have some chemistry. Some things to me looked a little bit off, not from Nyla Rose's part, right? The whole like scissor thing, I was like, really? The body scissors, this is what we're doing right now. And the fact that when you see Rose pulling towards the rope, like the scissors is not even on at all. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit lame. I still don't understand Kris Statlander's character, except that she's more than a woman. So she's not an alien, but she's more than a woman.
And she overcomes things.
And overcomes things, yeah. You know what? I actually gave this match the number 5 spot. Right. And when we get to the number 4 spot, because that's the last one, I'll explain why. But yeah, I just didn't have a problem with it. I just thought the number 4 match was a little bit more entertaining to me. Right. This one, if you watch the audience, they were kind of not into it, a lot of parts of it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I nothing wrong with it. And yes, I am gonna give Statlander some time to get back in the groove and stuff like that. Like nothing she did was wrong. It just felt a little bit slow in some parts. And yeah, and yeah, it was fine. It was fine. But giving it my number 5 spot.
Yep, me too. It gets the gentleman's 3 from me. So yeah, it was fine. It was a match.
Yeah.
I thought Nyla Rose looked good.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice seeing her back on Dynamite again. You know, I mean, this woman can wrestle. They should let her wrestle on Dynamite more. Yeah, Statlander was, you know, a little bit sloppy in a couple places. You're right about those scissors. The body scissors look terrible.
It did.
But I mean, the rest of her stuff was good. She hit the 450 really well.
That was good. Yeah, that was
yeah.
good.
I mean, there's a lot of her stuff that looked quite solid. I like the story, like finally going after the knee and that kind of stuff. So that was good. So yeah, I mean, it was a solid match and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't exactly something I was going to write home about later.
Agreed.
So that brings us then to a bunch of announcements about what's coming up on Rampage. And on Rampage this week, we're getting Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Action Andretti.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. And we're also getting the recently retired from the LA dojo Katsuyori Shibata is coming back to AEW. So this is all good stuff. I keep wondering if we're going to find out that he's, you know, decided to maybe sign with AEW.
I like him. I think he should sign with AEW.
Or just go on a tour of North America or something. I don't know, because, you know, he wants to wrestle. And New Japan won't let him wrestle.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of see like where they're coming from. The man almost died in the ring, so they don't want to be responsible for his death. So anyone he does fight needs to be very careful. But the fact is, though, Zack Sabre Jr. has flown in from Japan to appear on Rampage, and then is flying back to Japan to wrestle in Dominion, and then ostensibly is flying back to North America, perhaps for Dynamite. So interesting. Unless he films some like backstage videos they can just play over top of something while he's here. So
yeah, maybe.
you never know. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of hyped for the fact that Zack Sabre Jr. is facing Action Andretti. Can't wait to watch that match. Then we get a recap vid on Jericho and Cole from the weekend. The recap made the match look way more exciting than it really was. Then we get Saraya and Chris Jericho taking on Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in a mixed tag match. This is fought under mixed tag rules. The women are not allowed to strike the men. The men are not allowed to strike the women.
Oh, I'm glad they followed those rules.
Precisely. I'm very glad that those rules were actually rules in the match. Anyway, Excalibur, as Jericho makes his entrance, says it's always great to hear from the San Diego Children's Choir, referring to the crowd singing along. And I laughed because that was funny. Well, match opens with Cole and Jericho going at it. Strikes, forearms, chops, until Jericho just pokes Cole in the eyes and tosses him to the floor. He throws Cole into the guardrail and back in the ring, but Cole comes back with a lariat, so Jericho tags Saraya, so Britt must come in. But Britt hits a sling blade and an overhead throw for a 2. She then hits an air raid crash, but Saraya distracts the ref, and Jericho trips Baker on a run. Cole runs over there, but Jericho dodges him. Saraya keeps beating on Baker and teases a tag, but Jericho just doesn't tag, runs in and shouts at her, "You want to cane me now?" Saraya hits the apron knee lifts and then a snap suplex for 2. She locks on a seated sleeper and fakes another tag, and Jericho walks in and yells at Baker some more. Saraya tosses Britt out of the ring. Jericho distracts the ref while the Outcasts run down from the back and beat on Britt at ringside, but then Hikaru Shida shows up with a kendo stick and beats the Outcast back to the back room. Baker rolls up Saraya for a 2 on the distraction. Jericho yells at Baker some more and this time gets a slap, and then Britt tags Cole. So Cole beats on Jericho, hits a Gamengiri, but Jericho dodges the dropkick and hits a lion salt for 2. He tags Saraya again, but Britt runs in with 2 lariats and a neck breaker. She goes up top, but Saraya catches her. Britt fights her off, but Jericho comes in and protects Saraya by lying across her and taking the brunt of the splash from Britt, who then gets a 2 on Saraya and tags in Cole. Cole hits a pump kick and backstabber and sets up for the Panama Sunrise, but Jericho reverses into the walls and screams, "Ask him," repeatedly. Classic Jericho. Cole tries to crawl to the ropes, but Jericho drags him back to the center and leaves the hold on. So Britt gets up on the apron. She puts on her glove and she walks in the ring and puts the lockjaw on Jericho, getting him off Cole, then puts him to the mat and locks it on properly until Saraya breaks it up. Good job, ref. Cole does his HBK impression then for the kick, but Jericho catches him in a code breaker for 2. They exchange strikes as they fight to their feet and then hit simultaneous lariats, and both are down. They tag out. They fight back and forth, but Saraya hits the cradle DDT, the former Rampage, for 2. Jericho tries to hit Britt with the bat while Saraya distracts the ref, but Cole super kicks Jericho. Britt super kicks Saraya. They both super kick Jericho again, and someone blasphemes the Young Bucks by hinting this was a super kick party. Sorry, people, this was not a super kick party. It was people throwing super kicks. Only the Young Bucks can have a super kick party. Okay, get it right. Cole then hits the boom for 3, and Jericho throws a bit of a fit.
Yeah. This match was better than their pay-per-view match.
Yes.
It was more entertaining. It was faster, right? I don't know if and it went 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something like that, right? Or 20 minutes. I don't know if they said, "Hey, your pay-per-view match has to be X amount of time." And that's why they went so slow through it. This match was fun. I think that cradle DDT that Saraya hit, I thought was vicious. Like, it makes the Storm Zero look like sit down with Tony, right? Like, I mean, that's why, like, when the referee was checking on Britt, I'm like, man, she looked like she hit her head hard on that one.
No, right?
But yeah, no, this should have been the pay-per-view match. This should have been what they put on the pay-per-view. right? Like I don't care about Sabu. I don't care about like Roderick Strong and stuff like that. Like this should have been your match. Like it
Right.
was fun. It was the number 4 match of the night. And at the end of it, I'm kind of like, so is the Jericho feud over now? Because Cole just keeps beating him. I'm so confused.
I
Right.
hope it's over now.
Same.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it should be over. This match was better than their pay-per-view match. I enjoyed it a lot more too.
same.
And I'm not gonna say this was like the most epic
No,
match ever, but it was fun. You know why it was fun? Because Jericho was doing Jericho,
Jericho. Yep.
and that made it fun. And Saraya was doing her
Hmm.
bit, and like she worked so well with Jericho and that,
Hmm.
right? And I found the two of them together to be an
Great.
amazing
Yeah.
team. I mean, the whole like faking the tags, and then Jericho comes in the ring anyway and just screams at Britt. It was so good. Who are you gonna cane now? Yeah, it was pretty great. And then of course we had the weird bit where the ref doesn't care that the lockjaw was applied to Jericho.
There's a lot of things in here that I was like, so you told us the rules of
Hmm.
this
Yeah,
match, and you don't enforce any of it.
no. And why couldn't Jericho just beat the crap out of Britt
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
I don't get
Exactly.
it. Anyway, because that would have been domestic
Domestic
abuse,
abuse. I was gonna say
apparently.
domestic
Yeah.
abuse, Bill.
Yeah.
Domestic abuse.
Okay. Cancel fans. Nice try. Anyway, so yeah, no, this match was okay. It's also my number 4 match.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the Statlander Rose
Yeah.
match. The wrestling was pretty good. I mean, look, Adam Cole's good in the ring. I'll give him that much, right? But I mean, I'm kind of tired of the whole, ooh, I just hate Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Do something, Cole. Go have like a good, like, I don't know, run with someone or something. But like, I'm hoping you're done with Jericho now.
Same.
I'm hoping you're back in ring shape and you can move on to bigger and better things. And Jericho can go back to leading his appreciation society, and it'll be great. Where was the JAS tonight?
Yeah. Maybe they left the building like the elite.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Or maybe they were just super excited because now they're like all backstage going, oh my God, we get to see Vikingo taking on Commander and Dralistico
Hmm.
on Rampage. I know, but the Triple A title.
That's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great match. Are you kidding? Very interesting. It's like I'm wondering about this new relationship that Triple A seems to have with AEW, right?
Hmm.
It's like Conan has promised. Conan's their booker,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's promised they're trying to really get back into the North America market and stuff like that in a big way. And there's like more people coming up, and he's
Well,
got plans,
well,
and
think about it. Like, I mean, they're not as big in North America as they are obviously in like I think Mexico that they're
you realize Mexico's part of North America,
yeah,
right?
I know. As I
Oh,
said,
okay,
I was
okay,
like North
Taz.
America, and that's why I paused. I'm like Mexico. um, but like AEW lets them defend their titles on TV,
Yes.
right? So in the US and Canada, and I guess
Hmm.
and AEW is viewed worldwide,
Yes.
right? So why wouldn't you make a deal like that? You know WWE is not going to let you do that,
No, of
right?
course not.
So yes, this is smart. This is
Yep.
very smart
Oh, and I
by
mean all the
Triple H.
different people that they have going back and forth
Mhm.
now. Like the
Mhm.
list of impressive talent that they have in AEW that's like triple A talent is just like it's crazy, right?
Yeah,
And I mean I'm all for this. Let's
same,
make the
same.
relationship even more. Let's
I
have
agree.
2 forbidden doors,
I agree.
right? Let's do like a big triple A versus AEW
AEW.
pay-per-view. I would
Why
love
not?
that. That would be great.
Why not? I totally agree.
Exactly. I would love to
Like,
see even more of the talents down there, but in a 4-sided ring, no 6-sided rings.
yeah, yeah. So you could do like a Forbidden Door, New Japan versus AEW, and another
Mhm.
Forbidden Door, as you said, no Triple A versus AEW.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd have to call it something else though. We could call it the Lucha Door. Oh, oh.
But that does like sound like something that they would create, right? So no, it
Lucha
wouldn't. It would be
Door.
like the extravaganza lucha door.
Exactly. The super extravagant fun times Lucha Door. Yes. Yep, exactly. Fantastica Door Mania. I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Anyway, now yeah, we've totally dove into a big pool of crap now. So as we amuse ourselves, I'm very good at amusing myself. Don't worry about it, people.
I
So
think I'm the
yeah.
funniest person in the world, so I amuse myself all the time.
Oh, you're the second funniest after me. Anyway, and at this point, our listeners are going, guys, shut up.
Shut the hell up.
You know. So that brings us though to the end of AEW Dynamite, and both of us are looking forward to Rampage. But of course,
Mhm.
the question we always ask at the end of the show is, did anything on this show reach the Omega level?
No, no, nothing actually reached the Omega level. Um, it was, you're right. It was like a hangover show from the pay-per-view, right? Um, it was okay. Had some good matches, right? Nothing was like extremely terrible, right? There wasn't a
Right.
Wardlow or Jade Cargill match on here, so yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, no offense to Wardlow, who put on one
Mm-hmm.
of our top 5 matches on the Undouble or Nothing, right? I mean,
Top
that ladder
three,
match. Yeah,
top
top
three.
three,
Yeah.
top three. That's right. I mean, in an 11 match card, he was number
Mm-hmm.
3.
Mm-hmm.
So the one right behind those 2 epic matches that we
Yep.
got. So yeah, good job on Wardlow. I'm gonna cut him some slack over the next little while,
He
briefly.
deserved it. He
Yes.
deserved it. Yeah.
Hey, if he keeps it up, good job. I mean, you never
Mhm.
know, right? You never know. Get some new gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So no, nothing on this show had hit the Omega level for me either. It was definitely a hangover show. I am looking forward both to Rampage, which is a freaking
Mm.
loaded card this week, and next week when we are in the post-Dominion world where, both AEW and New Japan have got past their 2 big shows, and now they can both build towards Forbidden Door. So next week I expect big things
No, we're gonna
pushing
see.
us towards you and I sitting in the crowd for
Oof,
Forbidden Door.
it's gonna be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. But for now, as the visiting Japan great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.